The stars beyond the viewport of Resolute shimmered, like a cold sea of watching eyes. Commander Elias Vance stood alone in the observation deck, arms folded behind his back, his expression unreadable. A diplomat might call it a formality. Elias knew better. It was a summons. Council signal confirmed. Came the voice of Lieutenant Marin through his comm, encrypted channel. High priority directive. They want you on Naxa Prime in 20 hours. Elias didn't answer right away. His gaze lingered on the thin crescent of the Council station, Naxa Prime, looming ahead. Massive, ancient, bristling with defensive nodes and flanked by patrol wings from over a dozen species. It was a galactic equivalent of walking into the lion's mouth. He tapped his earpiece. Alert the delegation. Full protocol. Suits, badges, everything. Yes, Commander. As the comm line went silent, the door hissed open behind him. Ambassador Uri strode in, robes billowing, eyes sharp beneath silver brows. "You're not seriously considering walking into that nest alone," she said. "I am," Elias replied, turning. "And we're not walking. We're making a statement." Uri frowned. "Virexa's not inviting us to negotiate. This is a collaring." Elias allowed himself a dry smile. Then she's going to find the leash won't fit. The Council's message had been simple. Earth would accept the proposed terms of galactic integration, military restrictions, resource taxation, limited representation, or face trade sanctions and security isolation. A softer word for blockade. Elias saw through the pretense. In the briefing room aboard Resolute, tension buzzed like static. Holograms flickered, fleet movement logs, intercepted transmissions, diplomatic transcripts. Elias stood at the center, tall and steady, surrounded by senior staff and EarthGov advisors linked in via secure uplink. 5 major species are already shifting fleet assets towards Sector Theta for, reported Admiral Kovacs from Earth. Standard Council protocol before containment action. "So it's not bluff," Uri said, crossing her arms. "It's not," Elias confirmed. "And Earth won't be caught flat-footed." One of the younger staffers leaned forward. "Are we really prepared for this? A military confrontation with the Council?" Elias nodded once. "We've been preparing for it since first contact." He gestured to the central display. Dozens of redacted schematics snapped into view. Covert shipyards, cloaked assets, energy signatures. The secret fleet built in the dark. We've matched them. Quietly. Precisely. No parades. No declarations. We didn't come to play catch-up. We came to survive. A moment of silence followed. Then Uri spoke, voice even. "You've already made the decision, haven't you?" "I'm not going to Naxa Prime to beg," Elias said. "I'm going to remind them that Earth kneels to no throne." Arrival at the station was a performance in itself. Resolute approached under strict vectoring instructions, flanked by escort drones and funneled through energy scanners. Elias wore the formal black and silver of the Earth Diplomatic Corps, though his posture was all military. Every step down the shuttle ramp rang with quiet purpose. Naxa Prime was a marvel of galactic engineering. Towering crystalline arches, anti-grav walkways, entire ecosystems carved into stone and light. But beneath the beauty was control. Security drones in every corridor, surveillance grids, species segregation. Virexa made them wait. When Elias was finally summoned to High Chamber, he found himself walking into a room designed to intimidate, vast, circular, ringed by tiers of alien delegates. Each species had its own alcove, some glowing, others shadowed. At the apex, on a throne of obsidian and bone, sat High Chancellor Virexa. She rose, slow and deliberate. "Commander Elias Vance of Earth, you come bearing your people's response." "I come bearing our presence," Elias replied evenly. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Virexa's voice coiled like smoke. "Your species stands on the threshold of war. The Council has extended you a final offer. Accept integration under our guiding arm, or face consequences we need not describe." Elias stepped forward, the echo of his boots cutting across the silence. "You mistake us, Chancellor. Earth did not cross the stars to trade one master for another. Pride," she hissed. "A dangerous luxury." "No, it's memory," Elias said, We remember what it means to fight for what's ours. A delegate from the Karen Collective, a race of crystalline bipeds, rose to speak. We advise caution, human. Defiance leads to extinction. Elias turned his gaze to them. Then perhaps it's time extinction had a taste of earth steel. He withdrew a small device from his coat and placed it on the speaker's pedestal. A hollow map expanded, ship signatures, real-time positions. A fleet, Earth's fleet, cloaked, surrounding council sectors, larger than any suspected. Silent, waiting. Gasps echoed from the assembly. Virexa narrowed her eyes. You violate sacred boundaries. No, Elias replied. We balance the scale. She leaned forward. What is this? Threat? Bluff. Preparation, he said. While you planned to cage us, we built wings. Back aboard Resolute, Elias sat alone in the command chair. The chamber dimmed. The ship vibrated softly, energy thrumming through its frame. He stared at the screen. Naxa Prime, one so distant, now caught in a ring of Earth's own making. His comm pinged. Commander, said Marin. Message from EarthGov. Full fleet command transferred. You are now Supreme Fleet Marshal of the United Earth Armada. Elias exhaled once. Understood. Ready the next phase. As the stars burned quietly around them, the first moves of a new galactic order had begun. The Council had summoned a subordinate. Instead, they got a sovereign. Beneath its glittering domes and suspended walkways, diplomatic undercurrents churned like poison in clear water. Elias Vance moved through the corridors with measured steps, flanked by Ambassador Uri and two silent aides. Alien eyes followed him from shadowed alcoves and crystal-paneled lounges, some with curiosity, others with calculation. They weren't diplomats, not truly. Spies, informants, enforcers in ceremonial garb. That was the Council's diplomacy, make you feel welcome while quietly placing the noose. The high chamber doors opened again. A voice called out, neutral and ceremonial. The Council recognized as a human delegation. Elias stepped forward, shoulders squared, suit pressed, face unreadable. The chamber was full now. Representatives from all 72 member species sat in their suspended thrones or floated in containment fields. The chamber shimmered with colors not meant for human eyes. At the center, elevated above all, sat Virexa. She smiled. Commander Vance, she said silkily, I trust your accommodations are adequate. Elias offered a single nod. We sleep well. That should worry you. Several delegates exchanged glances. Some stiffened. Virexa only tilted her head. This council convenes under charter to finalize Earth's integration terms, she said. We extend again our hand, protection, commerce, and guidance. The offer remains generous, considering your species' youth. The words sat heavy, a veiled insult delivered with diplomatic gloss. Uri stood beside Elias. With respect, Chancellor, Earth's position remains one of sovereignty. Virexa's smile thinned. Sovereignty is not at stake. Order is. Elias stepped forward. Then perhaps it's your order that needs to change. The chamber shifted. Voices murmured. The air thickened. A delegate from the Cellari Enclave, a feline species known for mercantile dominance, raised a paw. Human production capabilities have risen beyond projections. Shipyards, energy output, unregistered warp signatures. Your fleet activity in neutral sectors is concerning. Elias didn't flinch. We have nothing to hide. Then why the cloak vessels? The Cellari snapped. Because you taught us to cloak. Laughter rang from somewhere in the lower tiers. Brief, nervous, quickly silenced. Virexa rose. Her voice, low and dangerous, cut through the chamber. Earth is a newcomer. You have no seat, no legacy, and no right to dictate the rhythm of the stars. Elias met her gaze. Legacy doesn't dictate the future. Action does. Later, in the diplomatic suite, Uri paced in front of the window. The station's orbital rings cast long shadows across her features. She's rattled, Uri said. No, Elias replied, eyes locked on secure tablet. She's calculating. She thinks she still holds the high ground. Uri stopped. Then let's shake it. Elias turned the tablet toward her. We will. On the screen, intelligence feeds painted a quiet but undeniable truth. Council fleet formations were shifting. A dozen systems rerouting supply lines. Communication spikes in border sectors. A noose slowly closing. She's bluffing negotiations, Elias said. In 12 hours, she'll have the blockade in place. Uriah frowned. Then she thinks we came here blind. She thinks Earth is still what we were 80 years ago. He tapped another icon. Secure relays lit up. Deep space telemetry. Long-range gravitic pulses. Every encrypted ping returned the same answer. Earth's fleet was in position. That night, if artificial station cycles could be called that, Elias met with Captain Celine Ward in a private comm room. Her face appeared, haloed in the pale blue light of the encrypted channel. She stood aboard the UEF Vigilant, one of Earth's most advanced dreadnoughts. We're locked in, she said without preamble. Cloak integrity at 97%. Fire groups calibrated. Just say the word. Not yet, Elias said. They need to see it, not feel it. Celine nodded. Politics before payload. Got it. Any council movements toward our position? One patrol group veered close, but no contact. We're shadowing their scans. Still ghosts. Good. Hold formation. They'll blink first. Before disconnecting, Celine paused. You sure you want to be in there when they do? Elias managed a tight smile. Better here than under their heel. By morning cycle, the council reconvened. The chamber felt colder, more alert. The undercurrent of tension now hung above the surface. Varexa spoke first. Commander Vance, the council has reviewed Earth's development patterns. Your refusal to cooperate is interpreted as aggression. Elias said nothing. She continued, voice rising. The United Earth Confederacy has 20 hours to begin disarmament procedures. If no such steps are initiated, the Council Security Forces will enact containment. No applause followed. No motion passed. Just silence. Then Elias stepped forward and placed a chip on the central pedestal. A hollow display flared into life. Orbital diagrams, dozens of ships, triangulated scans from Council relay nodes themselves. Earth's fleet, clearly in Council-adjacent sectors, fully cloaked until this moment. Gasps. A few delegates rose. One dropped a communicator. Elias spoke clearly. We came prepared not for conquest, but to prove we will not be conquered. He pointed at the data stream. You move fleets to intimidate. We mirrored every move. We built, not because we seek war, but because we refuse slavery dressed as civility. A Kororothi ambassador, translucent and floating, clicked angrily. This threatens the entire balance of galactic peace. Then perhaps it was never peace, Elias said, voice iron. Only silence under pressure. Varexa stood. You threaten the council with war? No, Elias said. We offer you a new precedent. The chamber descended into noise, delegates speaking across each other, some demanding sanctions, others arguing for restraint. Uriah leaned toward Elias. You've cracked the mask. He didn't smile. It's time they see what's underneath. From orbit, Naxa Prime looked serene, rotating steadily against a velvet black of space. Inside, however, the council boiled. The reveal of Earth's hidden fleet had shattered the illusion of control. Delegates met in private corners. Old alliances trembled. Fear had entered the chamber, wearing a human face. In a sealed briefing cell aboard Resolute, Commander Elias Vance stared at the new telemetry with narrowed eyes. Gravitic signatures confirmed Council fleet dispersals, Lieutenant Marin reported. They've called reinforcements from 5 sectors. Over 600 ships. Elias nodded, all converging on Naxa Prime. They think we'll flinch, Uriah muttered, arms crossed. Or they're about to panic. No, Elias said calmly. They're stalling. Still trying to gauge how far we're willing to go. Uriah turned to him. So, what do we do? He tapped a single command on the console. Uncloak Earth Armada. Phase 1. Moments later, in orbit, the stars moved. 12 human vessels faded into visibility. Massive, angular, jet-black hulls blooming out of the void like steel titans. No weapons fired. No signals sent. They simply existed now, undeniable. Inside the council chamber, a tremor passed through the gathered species. Every eye turned to the central feed as security drones streamed live footage of the sudden appearance. Gasps. Alarm calls. A few delegates attempted to leave. Elias stepped into the chamber without ceremony. "This is not an act of war," he said, voice steady. "It's a message." Virexa rose slowly, composed but stiff. "You dare bring warships to our heart." "We brought clarity," Elias replied. "No more games. No more whispers behind treaties. We are here, seen and sovereign." One of the crustacean-like Trell clicked his mandibles. "This breaks council code. Military forces in diplomatic zones. We operate under Earth protocols." Elias cut in. "Your code doesn't bind us. Not anymore." Virexa leaned forward. "You provoke the council. You realize what that invites." "I know exactly what it demands." She gestured sharply. A security feed appeared. More council ships dropping out of warp. Hundreds now, encircling the sector. Uriah looked at Elias. "It's a standoff." "No," he murmured. "It's their illusion cracking." Back aboard Resolute, Captain Celine Ward's voice came through encrypted channel. "Armada fully visible. Council sensors have us mapped. No movements yet." "Hold," Elias instructed. "Should we prep strike packages?" "Only if fired upon." He paused. "Bring up Harrow's Gate." Celine hesitated. "Sir, that's not just visibility. That's power projection." Elias nodded once. "Exactly." In low orbit, the flagship UEF Harrow's Gate decloaked. 2 kilometers long, bristling with gravitic warheads and directed mass drivers, it was an embodiment of Earth's deterrence doctrine. No embellishments. No posturing. Just force. Council defense channels lit up instantly. Alerts, rerouting power, target tracking. Inside Naxa Prime, the chamber fell still again as Harrow's Gate filled the central hologrid. Even the most hawkish delegate said nothing. Elias stepped up to the speaker's dais. "We're not here to start a war, but we are done being treated as a minor species. Your threats, economic, political, or military, carry weight only when met with silence. Virexa didn't sit. You violate every principle of diplomacy." "No," Elias said, locking eyes with her. "We're redefining it." Behind the scenes, the effect was immediate. Private messages pinged through secure lines from several mid-tier civilizations. Requests to open talks with Earth directly. Some were seeking trade. Others, defense pacts. The ripples were spreading. Uriah sat beside Elias in the diplomatic enclave afterward, analyzing comms data. "They're shifting," she said. "We're fracturing their block." "They relied on fear for centuries," Elias replied. "Now they're learning what it feels like." She looked at him. "And if they choose to retaliate?" He didn't hesitate. "Then we show them the difference between power and dominance." Later, Elias stood before the viewport, watching Harrow's Gate glide silently across the station's flank. A voice behind him. "Commander." He turned. It was an unexpected visitor. Ambassador R.H. Lack of the Vianney Concordat, one of the oldest member civilizations. Pale skin, translucent veins pulsing softly beneath his surface. R.H. Lack bowed. "You walk a knife's edge," the alien said. "So does the council," Elias answered. "You've unsettled centuries of hierarchy. The other humans would have come here with gifts. You came with teeth." Elias studied him. "We tried gifts. You asked for collars." R.H. Lack offered a nod of respect. "Perhaps it's time someone made them sweat." He turned, his voice lower. "Careful, though. Virexa doesn't lose. She dismantles. Slowly." Elias's eyes never left the window. She's not the only one who plays long. Hours later, a sealed message came from Virexa's office. An emergency executive session of the High Council. Uriah raised an eyebrow. "That's a rare play." "She wants to corner us," Elias said. "One-on-one. Fewer witnesses. More control. Should I prepare a protest?" "No." Prepare counterstrike. At 0200 station time, Elias walked alone into the Obsidian meeting hall, Virexa waiting at its center, surrounded by only a handful of senior delegates. "Commander Vance," she said coolly, "your actions risk destabilizing the entire Galactic Compact." "No," he replied. "Your refusal to accept Earth as an equal does." She stepped closer. "You believe your fleet grants you permanence? You underestimate how quickly alliances turn." "I'm counting on it," Elias said quietly, "because fear doesn't last. Respect does." She studied him, expression unreadable. "You're very certain," she said. "I came prepared." Outside in orbit, the Earth fleet held its line, unmoving, unblinking, like judgment waiting to be passed. The High Council Hall was colder than before. The ambient glow that once lit the grand chamber in shades of sapphire now flickered dimly, as if the station itself hesitated. Delegates returned to their perches, their silence louder than their prior protests. No ceremonial greetings. No pleasantries. The mask was off. Commander Elias Vance entered alone, his coat crisp, his steps measured. No escort. No weapons. Just presence. High Chancellor Virexa waited at the central podium, motionless. Her voice, when it came, sliced through the hush like a blade. "You pushed too far." Elias didn't stop walking. "No, I pushed exactly far enough." She gestured toward him sharply. "By council authority, you are to be detained for violations of interstellar protocols and the unauthorized militarization of a diplomatic engagement." The words landed like stone, but Elias didn't blink. "I'm not leaving in chains, Chancellor." Two armored guards stepped forward from the shadows, weapons charged. The chamber tensed. "Try it," Elias said calmly. "But be aware, Resolute has standing orders. If I go dark, Earth's fleet initiates full combat readiness. Your sensors already picked up our gravitic disruptors. You know what those do." A long pause. The guards froze. A delegate from the Myron Syndicate stood, slowly. "You would destroy this chamber to save your pride?" Elias turned to him. "I destroy nothing. But I won't be paraded as proof that your threats still work." Virex's expression hardened. "You think this show of power earns you respect?" "No," Elias said. "It earns us room to speak." She stared at him, weighing the moment, then made a subtle motion. The guard stepped back. Elias climbed the central platform and looked out over the room, at every skeptical, curious, or hostile face. He began without ceremony. 80 years ago, we made contact. You offered us guidance, protection, polished words that meant submission. You assumed we'd fall in line like so many before us." He paused, scanning the chamber. "But we didn't. We watched. We listened. And we built, in silence, because we knew how this game worked." Some delegates turned away. Others leaned forward. "You made one mistake," Elias said, voice rising slightly. "You assumed our silence meant weakness. It didn't. It meant patience." A buzz of murmurs stirred, quickly quieted. "You call us young. Inexperience isn't the same as ignorance. You thought we'd kneel. Instead, we learned how to stand taller." A delegate from the Hellari court rose. Her voice was soft but clear. "If not war, Commander, then what?" "Respect," Elias replied. "Real recognition. Equal seat. Full rights. Trade on mutual terms. No fleet patrols in our systems. No sanctions. And Earth opens talks with any species willing to deal fairly." Virexa stepped forward, her eyes narrowing. "You asked for a seat bought with threat." Elias locked eyes with her. "No, I asked for a seat built on fact." In a secured side chamber, shortly after, Uri tapped a hollow panel with precise motions. "They're splitting," she said quietly. 15 mid-tier species just open private comms with us. 3 want bilateral treaties. The Hydri offered tech exchange, off the record. Elias stood still, processing. "This is a fracture point," Uri added. "Push harder," they rallied behind her. "Pull back, we lose leverage." "We don't push or pull," Elias said. "We hold." A soft tone chimed. Incoming message from Harrow's Gate. Celine Ward's face appeared. Something new, she said. Council is redirecting 6 dreadnoughts from the Zari border. ETA 20 minutes. And they've powered long-range artillery grids on the station. Uri tensed. That's a threat. No, Elias said. That's panic. He returned to the council floor with only one thing in his hand. A small cylindrical device. Virexa stared. More tricks, Commander? Elias placed the device on the dais. A quiet chime. The chamber lights dimmed as a projection expanded. Holographic feed of Naxaprime's orbit. Dozens of human ships, visible. Unmoving. Not aimed, not threatening, just watching. Then the image zoomed out. New signatures appeared. Non-human. Small ships, fringe species. All heading toward Earth sectors. Some council members were defecting. Diplomatically, if not yet politically. This is what happens, Elias said, when you stop trying to control and start listening. Virexa's voice cracked with venom. And if we don't listen, then you become irrelevant. The weight of the room shifted. Power was no longer on Virexa's side. It was balancing, and she knew it. After the session adjourned, Elias stood in one of the upper observation decks. Uri beside him. She's not finished, Uri said. No, Elias replied. But neither are we. Below them, the Earth fleet remained silent and still, an armada of shadows, reminding the galaxy that humans didn't come to bow. They came to belong. The High Council floor buzzed with subdued tension. Delegates sat upright, the weight of galactic precedent pressing against their spines. The usual ambient hum of formal protocol was absent. No introductions, no recitations, just stillness, like a storm waiting to drop. Elias Vance entered without escort, not in formal wear this time, but in a simple Earthfleet officer's uniform, black with silver trim. Direct, unmistakable. He stepped into the center alone. Above him, orbiting Naxaprime, Harrow's Gate and the rest of Earth's armada held their perfect formation, unarmed, yet overwhelming. The Council's own fleets flanked the system now, outnumbered, uncertain, staring across the void at a force they hadn't believed possible. High Chancellor Virexa spoke first. You refused every condition, defied every regulation. This is your last opportunity to realign with the established order. Elias lifted his chin. There is no alignment. There is only acknowledgement. A low murmur passed across the tiers. The words struck deep. Virexa's tone sharpened. We cannot allow a precedent where a single species dictates through intimidation. We didn't dictate, Elias said evenly. We endured. We match your pressure. You force silence, and we answer with presence. You call that presence? A delegate from the Vaughn Dominion barked. You deployed a war fleet to our door. Elias turned to face him. We didn't come to conquer. We came to be heard. And now we are. Uri, sitting quietly in the Earth delegation box, activated the embedded display. It projected a timeline, communications from member states, private messages, proposals for talks, strategic withdrawals from council-aligned treaties. The movement was undeniable. One delegate stood, then another, this time not to challenge, but to listen. Elias stepped forward once more. Earth requests no tribute, no titles, only equal standing. If that cannot be granted, then we will withdraw from this council, declare ourselves neutral, and let history decide who blinked. The chamber fell deathly quiet. Virexa stood as well, her eyes narrowing. Her claws clicked once against the railing. You think you won something here. No, Elias said. We've simply ended something. Outside, the sky shifted. Harrow's Gate sent out a single pulse, gravitic but benign. A low-frequency wave that echoed across the station, unmistakable in intent. Not a threat, a promise. Celine Ward's voice came through Elias's secure comm. Council ships are holding formation, but they're not powering up. No weapons locks. Good, Elias said quietly. Keep them guessing. Back inside, Virexa addressed the chamber. Then let it be recorded. Earth refuses integration. Elias didn't interrupt. He let her finish. She continued. The council will abstain from enforcement, For now. But your path is solitary. Elias turned, slowly surveying the room. It's not solitary. It's free. One by one, holographic indicators lit up around the chamber. 22 delegations voted to open bilateral diplomatic channels with Earth. Not aligned, not dependent, equal. A new balance was forming before their eyes. Virexa did not speak again. She simply sat. Afterward, Elias stood in the docking bay of Resolute, watching as the final locks disengaged. Behind him, Uri approached, tablet in hand. You just broke centuries of hegemony with 20 sentences. 20, he said, and one fleet. She smirked. You know they'll try claw it back. They can try, Elias replied. But the illusion's gone. You can't put the veil back on once the stars have seen through it. They walked together up the boarding ramp. Status, he asked. All ships returning to cloak. Defensive posture only. No aggression logged. And the council? Uri checked her screen. Still spinning. Elias exhaled through his nose. Let them. As Resolute detached, the Earth fleet began to peel away. Quiet, disciplined, efficient. One by one, ships vanished into distortion trails as their cloaks re-engaged, slipping again into shadow. Not retreating. Just waiting. Later. From the forward observation deck, Elias looked down at the massive banner just now raised over the council station. Black with silver arc Earth's emblem, officially recognized. He didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He simply watched it ripple in the station's artificial breeze. Uri stood beside him. Do you think they'll ever respect us? Elias shook his head. No, not all of them. But they'll learn to live with us. And if they don't, he finally allowed himself a faint grin. Then we teach them how humans deal with refusal.